Hey everyone, this is Jason again here with a new video. Yeah! So before we get this video started, I do want to say a huge thank you to Paintball Revolution. As you can see, I use their gun mats because, come on, she's adorably attractive. Lucy, cool. So the main reason I always go with Paintball Revolution is literally they're probably about a 35-40 minute drive from my house. But it's the idea of their customer service, which is a huge thing to paintball. If anyone's had the opportunity to go in there, they make you feel welcomed, you don't get rushed, and you can take your time looking at the gear. So, Paintball Revolution, thank you very much for showing paintballers what it's like to be welcomed. So without further ado, a lot of us, excuse me, have been hearing about a new mask that Empire has made. So what we've done here today is we went out and we have bought it. This is the brand new Empire EVS. Of course, I got the black and green. I like green, and it matches my Lux. Nice. So now, before we get too much into this, a couple things. One, this is not the HUD. Okay, this is a standard model. The HUD, I believe, the HUD mask version, I believe, is like $499. A few things you guys need to understand about the HUD. In order to fully use the HUD, the field you are playing at has to have their field loaded as a bitmap on the internet to download to the HUD. Please keep that in mind. From what I've heard, you also have to have it Bluetooth to your phone so your GPS works on a data stream. Now, if anyone else has worry about that, me too. I never play with my phone in my pocket. It's always locked in my car. So, moving on, let's get into it. So, I'm not going to talk about the box. It's a box. Who cares? So, with the Empire, you actually get a microfiber, and you can tell this is microfiber. It's actually a pretty duty to hold the goggle in. It's pretty much going to be the same thing you get with your VOs, for example. Oh, sorry. Your Virtue VO, this also works as a really good cleaner. Now, one thing I always recommend is never use the outside to clean your mask. Flip it and use the inside. Always use the inside. The reason why, the outside is more prone to falling on the ground or getting, as you can see, paint on it. So, let's go ahead and get the mask out and stop talking about the bag. Ta-da! It's so pretty! So the first thing you're really going to see about the EVS is the lens is absolutely huge. The reason why the lens is so huge is so that when the HUD is installed where my hand is right now, you can still see out of your peripheral vision, sorry, tongue twister for me, out of the side of the goggles and not have it obstruct your vision whatsoever. A few things you're going to notice too is the nose piece does not come all the way up like on most masks. For example, here is my VO, kind of do a side by side. As you can tell, here's the nose piece is way down here, so that's going to give you more of a vision, and when you do get gogged, it's going to be easier to clean. You're not going to have all these little paint chips in here in your mask. Now, before anyone asks, no, this is not a standard VO. This is actually a custom hydro-dipped Joker done by Chaos Paintball. Just to let you guys know, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I also, the first thing out of the box what I've noticed is this has a lot of rubber. Okay, the good thing with rubber is, yes, it is going to help with bounces. When they do hit the mask, they have a tendency to kind of hit, go in a little bit, and then bounce right off. The only downside to rubber is if you do have a really big head and it's close to you, when you do get a bounce, it's going to feel like someone's slapping you. I'm telling you right now. So, just word of the wise. One really cool thing too is, as you can see, the emblem is actually part of the rubber. It's actually engraved part of it, unlike the VO, that my jewel's already gone, or even like the old school Empire event. As you can see, let me get a little closer. As you can see, the event is already long gone. This is the first generation they ever made, so this is why it's kind of messed up, but it's still a good way to compare how far Empires came from their event to now their EVS. The mask does have a lot of rubber on it from the earpieces to the front of the lens, or underneath the lens, I'm sorry, the face guard. But the one thing I do like is it has a huge ear coverage, which is amazing. Getting shot in the ear frickin' hurts, and it definitely will ruin your day real quick, ladies and gentlemen. So just always keep that in mind. So the cool thing is they've really kept this design a lot like the predecessor event, and what I mean by that is how you get the lenses out. It's almost identical, so that's a good thing. Now, as a side note, some people are saying, well, what's that film? I haven't taken off the protective film from this lens yet. We literally got it today, so I definitely want to dive in, do this video, and start blasting this. So the one big thing you're going to notice is with the new EVS, you can actually remove the foam from the inside, almost just like you can do with the Virtue. The Event, for example, you couldn't do that. You actually had to buy a rubber kit and actually redo the foam yourself, which turned into a royal pain in the ass. So basically, you just need to pull it, and as you can see, it comes right out. So pretty easy, pretty quick. Now, of course, if you get this mask brand new like I did, everything is still going to be really super tight. So it's not going to be the easiest to get it to first come off. So we'll set the mask aside to the first and show you, you got a buttload of padding, and it even says Empire. So this padding, let's go ahead and compare it to a Virtue Vio, because I actually have one right here. So let's go ahead and get the padding off. Now, the Empire padding is in two different sections. It's in the upper and the lower section, while the Virtue is one whole piece. But as you can see, Empire has definitely got way more foam padding than the Virtue. Now, the good thing with the foam padding is when this is on your head, it's going to keep the mask from bouncing around a lot, and it's also going to make the mask feel comfortable so it's not suffocating your face. Very important in paintball. And just to go ahead and do it, as I told you, you can also rip off the lower piece as well. Now, of course, they do come with a chin strap. I have never played with a chin strap in my life, so I'm going to remove this now. To remove it, just unsnip it, move the earpiece out of the way, and pull the darn thing off. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, the standard of all masks is you do have a gelatin or a silicone base behind the strap. This helps it, and it's on both sides. This helps us that when you're playing, your mask isn't going to move around a lot. For myself, I do play with a beanie and a head wrap. It just kind of keeps my mask in place. Also protects my head and the back of my neck. So let's go ahead and take out the lens and actually compare the lens to an Empire Event back in the day and actually a Virtue to kind of tell the difference of how big the size is on this thing. So let me quickly pop out my Event lens here. Now, I do apologize, the Event is a very old mask, so the goggle is going to be a little thrashed. I just kept it for some sentimental values. Okay. So, the one thing you really got to pay attention to is when you're getting this out, as you can see, there's no real place you can hook your finger. So I'm going to show you a trick how to get this out. Now, let's go ahead and I'll try to zoom in on this, so bear with me for the time being. Okay, you have this little tab that says pull arm. Most people are going to be trying to pull it back here. You don't want to do that. What you do, you pull from the front, and it is spring loaded, so bear with me. You pull from the front and you rotate the opposite direction of the lock arrow. The lock arrow is right here, and as you can see, it flows down. So that's that side. We're going to do the same side again, or the same way on the other side. So lift up where you can actually physically see, where you can physically see the little piece of metal. So same thing, lift up, rotate. Now, with the E-vent or even the E-flex, at this point you would have to pop the ears out. No, it is a separate step. So to get the goggles out, all you have to do is once you remove, let me go ahead and zoom the camera back to the home position. Once you unlock those two locks, take your fingers, okay, place your thumb on the top where it's really supportive, here or here. I prefer here. Give it one little, as you can see, like I said, it's brand new. Give it one good push, and then the mask, the goggles, or the lens, will begin to wiggle out. Now, it's not going to be this tight after a while, but at first, it's going to be seriously tight. Now, as you can see, the nose piece is here, but it's actually behind the lens. It's not in the front of the lens. This is going to give you more of an aerial view, and it's going to prevent having to pop it into the nose first, then slide it in, which is going to be a big plus. So let's move this off to the side. So as you can see, this is an absolute huge lens. Now the one thing does have a cutout right here. That's so as when you're rotating, as you put it in, it's going to go into the locking mechanism, which allows it to turn. So we'll keep that right there. So like the E-vents, for example, here's an old school E-vent. As you can see, the nose piece is part of the lens, and you have a solid chamber. That was because of the side unit that you actually had to physically pop in and out, like so, to lock the mask in. You do not have that with the EVS. This is due to the fact that you actually had to move the ear cover out of the way. So it's going to be kind of hard to do a really good side-by-side. I do apologize. But as you can see, the EVS is absolutely huge. Now, is it the same? Let's do this. We'll do a little stand-up side-by-side. So a stand-up side-by-side, it's going to be actually pretty similar right here, as you can see. The biggest thing is what's going to make the lens so huge is the idea that they got rid of the nose piece section. Getting rid of the nose piece section is going to allow the lens itself to be dropped down lower and wider. So we'll remove the E-vent, and then we'll bring in our Virtue VO. So same thing, as you can see, you have this massive nose area, and in this one, not so much. So huge difference. We'll do the same thing. Now in this case, the Virtue is smaller. As you can see, it's actually kind of resting underneath it. But the biggest thing with this mask, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that they've gotten rid of the nose bridge. That's really going to help. So when you're looking out your mask, you're not going to have this big old thing covering your nose. You're going to be able to see straight through it, which is actually a good idea. So we'll move that to the side. Now what I'm going to move this for a second, because I'm actually going to show you how to get the ear straps off, or the ear covers off with the straps. So, just like the old school E-vents, you're going to have Wow, I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Sticky, or whatever you want to call it. Then what you do, whoa, sorry about that. The mat just moved off me here. So all you do is once you actually remove it, which is real simple, it's just held on there, just rotate. As soon as you rotate, it comes right off. Huh, that looks almost identical to the old way they did it with the E-vents. Almost identical, ladies and gentlemen. So as you can see, that is an absolute huge earpiece. So that's going to really cover your ears very, very well, which is a big, big plus. It does have plenty of padding where your actual ear canal will be, but plenty of holes so that your ear can, or so that you can still hear. So we can do the same thing. Move it from there, move it up, pop it off. There you go. You got your strap and your earpieces. So, very quick, very easy. Let's just move that to the side and keep going, shall we? So now at this time, you have your actual mask frame itself. Lightweight, by the way, which is definitely a very, very good thing to have, especially if you have all the other masks that are hitting the market right now that are pretty super duper light, and that's what paintballers want nowadays. So I can definitely see that you will be able to pop this off, because you can tell. Let me hold this and zoom in. I do apologize, I do all the video footage by myself now. As you can see, you have little nipples right here, I call them nipples, that look like you can actually pull them out from the mask itself, because as I'm doing this I can see it separating, but that can definitely be for a later video when we do a complete teardown of this mask, just in case you have to clean it. So the one thing I can tell you right now is all this is one, let me go ahead and get back the way it should be. I can tell you all this right here is one whole piece, ladies and gentlemen. The actual lime that you're seeing is the only piece that's individual. So far, just wanted to really go into this mask because everyone's talking about the specs and it does this, but not really breaking it down and showing you compared to an Empire Event or even a Virtue VO, which I have two of them. I love the mask. Now, the one thing that I was impressed with the actual mask itself is they're saying that the lens, let me get that back out here for you. The stock lens is actually rated, and yes, I'm looking at the box, a 100% protection from UVA and B radiation, and they're saying that you're going to get the easiest sound quality, like when you're yelling to your teammates. So the one thing that I can tell you right now is with the VO, you do have a grill, and it looks like a car grill, while with the Empire EVS, you have just a whole bunch of holes. So I can tell you right now, if you get shot in the front of the mask, you are going to eat paint. Not literally, but metaphorically speaking. So a shot in the mask is definitely going to be a pain in the butt. You are probably, if you get shot in the side here too, you can see plenty of holes for air and some really big slits right here for massive airflow. So I can tell you right now, this mask is very, very, very easy to breathe in. When I put it on just for test purposes, I had no problems breathing in and out very heavily. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the EVS, kind of more broken down more than what you're used to seeing. Definitely wanted to get this video done. They do go for $149.95. Most shops have them. I do know that Paintball Revolution is carrying them currently. So if you want to check one out, if you're close to them, go and check it out. Hey, say Jason sent you. You never know. On that note, I want to say thank you very much for watching this. I do appreciate all the love and support I get from everybody. If you have any questions, concerns, you can comment in the video or hit me up on Facebook. You can just type in my name, Jason Wright. Kind of hard to miss. I'm like one of the only tattoo players with hand tattoos. Hey, cool. So other than that, thank you so much for watching. This is Jason, the YouTube guy, with the brand new Empire EVS. Thank you so much.